I understand having a pickaxe because, you mine for gold, but how does it come back to you like a boomerang?
Boomerax?
Axarang.
Boomer pick?
Pickaxarang.
How is this somehow more entertaining than the game we're playing right now? Roguelikes, roguelites, and their various other forms and names have dotted release schedules over the last few years, and each one seems to push the envelope in some regard, whether it be pushing the boundaries of storytelling via death and rebirth while visually stunning an already awestruck audience with fantastic gameplay, or by redefining the genre by adopting other genres into its maw and creating a hybrid of itself and, say, a platformer, thereby inspiring more creators to push the boundaries still further. UnderMine is another roguelike adventure on the Switch, but how does it push boundaries and inspire other developers? Let's find out.
This game's story is centered around its namesake, the UnderMine. It is a massive mine that resides under an already large mine that is inhabited by a wizard and the other NPCs you rescue on your way. Your whole goal is to explore the UnderMine and find out what's causing the earthquakes that, among other things, shake the screen while you climb deeper into the UnderMine, discovering a massive dungeon. The story is basically quiet after the beginning, save for a few NPCs that will speak in two bubbles with too small text, and then, as thanks, they'll open shops for you to spend the gold you mine in the UnderMine. Capitalism!
Seeing as how this is a roguelike/light, most of your time will be spent dying after getting very far into the dungeon, letting out that begrudging sigh as you spend the pitiful amount of gold you're allowed to take back, and charging in once more to hear the same two swinging sounds over and over again. Thankfully, there are a few distractions to keep you busy as you ponder which potion to put in your single potion slot, which blessings and curses you can stand to tolerate, and whether or not that treasure chest surrounded by spike pits is worth it.
One such distraction are these pickups called relics that will bestow you different abilities. Some of these abilities are incredibly helpful, such as being able to walk over pits, or being able to jump while standing in sticky oil, which, considering jumping is your only means of dodging attacks, it's a huge plus. Other relics, such as this toolbox-looking thing called Kurt's Stash, could do with a little more context. Saying it's a box that invites calamity is somewhat vague and confusing. I picked it up each time I found it, but it ultimately ended up being useless. Relics scale from extraordinarily helpful pieces of equipment to vague artifacts that could really use more context.
The other such distraction is gold veins. Sometimes you'll find gold speckling the walls and rocks you encounter. Simply smack them twice with your pickaxe and that gold will be yours. And the pilfers! Pilfers are these slime-like creatures that will crawl out of every nook and cranny that exists to steal your gold. They are very easily beatable, a strike of any kind forces them to drop the gold they stole, and serve more as an extra step to collecting your gold than a particular challenge. Annoyance over entertainment.
UnderMine is an incredibly mediocre game. It did almost nothing to stand out among the other likes and lights that have come out in the last decade, and what little it did is rather minuscule when considering the other advancements others of its genre have experimented with. UnderMine, unfortunately, feels more like a default build of a roguelite/light maker, a la RPG Maker, where you are meant to replace the assets, add in a dodge roll, and fill in your own music more than it feels like its own game.